everybody. Welcome to our special online coverage in-depth report on system networks. I'm here with Chris and Russ, and today we are talking about on-site technical support and why every company out there needs it. And they're crazy not to have you guys, whether you have an IT company, whether you don't. There are so many reasons. So let's start out. What are the benefits?
The benefits, first off, are going to be experience. We've been around, I've been doing this since the early 90s. The company's been around since 98. And we've done thousands of networks from here to China. So we've got a lot of experience.
Yeah. From here to China, because you have companies from here, local in Utah, all the way to international, huge. Exactly.
And other benefits would be the cost benefits is a huge one. It's a cut and dry, and unlike employee, you don't have the extra expenses that go along with that. We give you a fixed proposal after we've mapped out and Vizioed out your network, and we stick to whatever proposal for the first year that we've given you. So your CFO can predict what his costs are going to be, at least labor-wise, on everything except programming.
That's huge, because for IT, it's like if everything fell apart. I think you put this into perspective for me, Russ, when you were saying if our cameras and all of our hard drives imploded from even a day or a week of our life that we were shooting. I mean, what it takes and the people and how many people and equipment rentals and or, extra staff that we've paid for that day and what it took to actually get the footage and make that happen. If we lost it all, like the math that I would have to start doing hurt my head. And really, you guys can be so affordable because you customize everything from, huge international company size version to a one-man band, kind of mom and pop shop, basically. So you can make it affordable, and when you think about the world imploding and what it would cost if it did, it could be a whole year's worth of having you guys, or multiple years, depending on how catastrophic it happened.
Right.
So it's really IT insurance at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just
and
making
we
sure.
Proactively monitor everything and manage everything, so it cuts down on problems even more, and keeps the uptime
because something that might be coming down the pipe before an average company would be able to catch it.
Yeah, we get notified that they're running on one hard drive on their server instead of two because one's died, instead of them finding out when the second one dies too.
And I think this comes down to, again, because you are the experts, and it allows, and this is what you guys do. So it allows the business to be able to focus on what they do. So usually it's people, somebody who's doing it part-time, they're doing the IT while they're trying to run something else, especially with smaller companies. Everybody's wearing all the hats, especially the owner. And so this allows them to actually focus on what they do best and let you guys, because this is all you guys do. You are the experts that make this happen. And then, like you said too, Russ, you were saying that you just had a company recently that kind of had an implode situation, that you had just worked on another company that had the same problem, so you were able to fix it just instantly. Tell me a little bit about that.
So their company called us in to come in and redesign their network and their servers, and later on, after a year or two later, they had a problem where they had to restore from a backup, and instead of having to restore from their previous backup, which would have taken all day, they were able to just flip a switch and then they were up and running.
Which, again, thinking about, employees standing around, how much hourly rate would be to not be able to have them do what they do, and then cost of losing if you're selling something. How much money you would lose actually selling it. Okay, so you have different types of on-site technical support, because you have hourly, and then you have, of course, contracts. So explain the difference between the two.
Hourly is reactive. Usually hourly is because they have an emergency, like you said. If it's a first-time client that we've never done anything with, we'll give them a $20 an hour discount just to try our services. And then once we get in there, they may end up being a client that would benefit from a service agreement that's a fixed price to manage and maintain and bring everything up to speed and eliminate costs that come out of nowhere. Service agreements have better, we have features like cloud services, data center services, email services, offsite backups, things like that that don't typically come with hourly, because it's a proactive service instead of a reactive service. But we can take care of either. For a small company, it only needs a few things here and there per year. Hourly is probably the best way for them to go.
So explain a little bit more in depth then how that works. So you're saying you provide depending on the company too, because you have consulting for companies that already have IT departments in place.
Right.
And then you have companies that don't have any IT. So explain the difference between those two.
So we have companies that don't have any IT, and they're usually mom and pop shops that need help. And what we do is that we stop by on a regular basis and make sure, their antivirus is working, the backups are going, the server's not having any issues. And when we're there, we're able to resolve any problems that they may have.
Like say, their printer prints out pictures of printers.
Right.
Why, we don't know. Yeah, you could fix that.
Yeah. So
Trip.
on a regular basis, we stop by and make sure everything's functioning, or you have a question about something, we're there to help you get those questions resolved. And then we have companies where we have IT on site and they need help with a particular project and it's outside their scope, and we're able to come in there with our consultants and show them how it should be done and some of the pros and cons of the situation, and then really put out a roadmap for them to look at and make the decision, and then we execute.
And then, like you said, the difference between the hourly and then having a full, contract in place would be the access to all the bells and whistles, because you have a small-time company that would be able to have access to what a big international company has by being on board with your crew.
Correct. So we offer in our regular contracts email services, off-site services, data center, which is cloud services, all inclusive inside of their contract.
That's just your baseline offer.
Yes.
So I mean,
Monitoring of their systems.
so you could come help us get all of our phones in sync, so we all have our calendars all together, have it on our email system so we're all linked up, have everything work right to the correct printers. I mean, that is just like we would have all the bells and whistles, even though we're a tiny little deal.
Correct.
Which is amazing. That is so awesome.
And the best part about that is that it's not expensive either. A lot of the companies, they come in and they do what we do, but they charge them an arm and a leg, versus us, we do it at a low monthly price.
Which makes it affordable to all different sizes. And of course, then you're not taking it away from companies that have their IT department, because you mentioned that a lot of times hourly people are at 5 o'clock, they actually get to go home.
Right.
Because you guys fill in the blanks there. Or if they needed to, heaven forbid, go on vacation.
Yeah.
They could turn it over more to you than maybe they do on a regular basis. There's all kinds of flexibility, and that's where when you guys go in and have that consultation and you're able to draw it up specifically for their company, that's like invaluable.
Yeah, or if
And
it's a
amazing.
risky migration upgrade and they don't want their job on the line, they want us to do it, we'll put our job on the line.
Just the fact that you said risky migration, I would want you guys to be in charge of that. Because I'm picturing birds and all kinds of scary things happening. So for sure I would be like, yeah, let's let those guys do that. I don't want to be in charge. So, well, thank you so much for talking to us. Be sure and mention that you saw us today, because if you have a problem, you've never used them before, and you call in, they will give you a free evaluation and $20 off their regular hourly rate. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.